How bad do you want to live your dream? Are you settling for what's comfortable? Are you saying to yourself, hey, just one more year? Let's talk about how you can turn your dreams into reality. Welcome to Goose Pond Hideout with Rob. So, are you living your dreams or are you settling for what's comfortable? What do I mean? Skeeters. Ooh. So, I've been thinking a lot about this, and I really want you to live your dream. But of course, what happens is we get caught up in life and we end up doing what's comfortable. What do I mean by that? Is we get a job, we start paying rent on a place to live, we borrow money and get a car loan, we get a credit card or two, and we get caught up in the comfort of living in the real world. And then when we think about our dreams and what we really want to do, we just keep saying, well, one more year. I'll put this off one more year. And one more year becomes one more year, becomes one more year. And before you know it, a lot of years have gone by, right? So, you helping me make the video today, Bonnie? Huh? You good girl? Yeah, good girl. Helping me make my video. People want to live their dreams, right? But they're comfortable. They won't quit their soul-sucking job in order to live their dreams. And it's because living your dream is taking a risk, and getting that weekly paycheck is comfortable. So we just, we stay with that. And, as an example, when I graduated from college, I got the job at the retail store, the Walmart-like, Target-like, Kmart-like job, working in that retail business. But I also had a second job as a bartender. And we lived in a trailer park. It was actually kind of a nice little trailer. We were on the outside. The road made a curve, so it was kind of like a slice of pizza sized lot, and there were houses on the other side of the street. We were on the edge of the trailer park. All the trailers were like behind us, the oodles of, however, I don't know how big the park was, but we were on the very edge with a big pie-shaped lot and houses right across the street from us. So, we had a pretty nice lot, but it was a trailer in a trailer park. I got up in the morning, made myself breakfast, walked to my job at the retail store, did my 8-hour shift at the retail store. Then my wife would pick me up in the parking lot of the store, outside the door. I would climb in the back seat of our one car, and it was old, that was paid for. We didn't have any kind of car payment. And I literally changed my clothes in the back seat of the car while my wife drove me to my bartending, my second job. And then I did my bartending job, and then in the morning I walked home to our trailer and crawled in bed and passed out and fell asleep. And this is northern Wisconsin, so imagine how chilly it was in the wintertime, right? December, January, February kind of thing. But I wanted to get ahead. So I had a job, I changed my clothes in the car, and I went to my second job so that we could get ahead, so that we didn't have to live in a trailer for the rest of our lives. And then that was when I decided that I didn't really want to do that because I didn't see how I was going to get out of that. And we moved down to the, Chicago area, and I got the corporate job. But that's a story for another day, right? The point is, you've really got to want it bad. It's like breathing air, that you want to live your dream so bad that you're willing to live in a trailer. You're willing to change your clothes in the back seat of a car between jobs. You've got to be willing to risk losing it all to make it to that next level in your life. And I mean, look at, what we would consider, Elon Musk, when he sold PayPal, he could have just quit and retired, right? And, lots of other people that, and I'm not talking about anybody, being that successful, right? I mean, a multi-gazillionaire. I just want you to be able to live your dream. So I'm just using that as an example of people that put everything on the line because they're driven to live their dream. And, my dream's my dream. Elon Musk's dream is Elon Musk's dream. Stephen King's dream is Stephen King's dream with, selling his stories. Whatever it is, I want you to be able to live your dream. So you've got to be willing to risk it all to really put it out there so that you can get your dream. Otherwise, you just keep saying that, well, I'll work in this job one more year. And then, it's always one more year, one more year, one more year, right? So, don't let living your dream be less important than getting that weekly paycheck. Because that's what it really boils down to, is that, you don't like the life you're in. Your job or whatever it is, making you unhappy. It's soul sucking, right? But it's comfortable. When you get up Monday morning, you know what you're going to do for the day. And you know what's going to happen on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday and Friday, and it's all predictable. And you know you're going to have your paycheck at the end of the week, and you know you're going to be able to pay your rent and buy groceries, and all those things. Where if you walk away from that, if you risk it all, what's going to happen? And you really do have to be comfortable with the thought of, can you, live in your car for a time while you get your life figured out? Can you sleep on your couch or the floor at a friend's house for a month while you pursue your dream? Because you got to hang it out there for all to see. And that was, my thing back with the working the two jobs, the retail and the bartending, and, then moving down to the Chicago area with the corporate job in the big pharmaceutical company, is I was always thinking about what my family and my friends would think about what I was doing. How would they think, well, Rob is, he's getting a little crazy there. He's, wanting to go do this or that or the other thing. So I did what was expected of me. And, it took me a long time to finally have my, aha, and quit everything. And I was 47 when I, sold everything I owned and we moved on to the sailboat. So I want you to not wait so long. Because if you make the decision early in your life, you have less baggage to be worried about getting rid of. If you wait till you have a mortgage and a car payment or two and 3 or 4 credit cards run up to their limit, and you've got to make thousands and thousands of dollars a month just to keep your head above water, it's going to make it much, much more difficult for you to leap off the cliff and follow your dream. And that's why, a lot of times people that are really successful came from nothing. I mean, they were literally living in their car, and they didn't have anything to lose, so they might as well gamble and risk everything to live their dream. So that's the problem, is the more you get trapped in the real world with all those things of a nice job and a nice place to live and a nice car to drive and really nice clothes to wear, you're comfortable, and it's harder to give that up to pursue the life that you really want to pursue. So be thinking about that. Be thinking about how you can live your dream. Don't say one more year, one more year. Go now, knowing that you might be living in your car for a while. You might be sleeping on the floor of a friend's house or your parents' house or whatever, in a camper, in the back of a cargo truck. But if you've got a plan for your dream, go for it. That's what I want, because it's freedom and happiness, right?